There you are, Emsy. I've got something interesting to show ye. What is it, Hagrid? Feast your eyes on this little troublemaker. I love the camera pan, and he is so cute! It's been hiding in a redwood box of mine since I brought it here. But I just lured it out with a bit of food. Is that it eating? It's cute! It's a Bowtruckle! It's so tiny. This one's quite special, I think. You don't see many Bowtruckles with an eye patch. Where did you find it? I was in Hogsmeade the other day, and I caught it trying to open me trunk. Blimey! That seems like unusual behavior for a Bowtruckle. You're right. Normally, Bowtruckles keep to themselves, living crime-free, lives in one quality trees of their choosing. But their long needle-like fingers make them well suited for picking locks. Maybe it's a bad Bowtruckle, a Bowtruckle that does locks. So some are captured and raised by roguish types, thieves and whatnot. They never see any trees at all. This one must have made a great lockpick. Its fingers seem particularly long. You're right. In fact, I've been calling it needle fingers. So far, it's the only thing we can agree on. It seems a bit untrusting. That makes sense, given the life it's probably had. Thieves aren't often kind to Bowtruckles, and they usually abandon them once they're done with them. Still, I've got a soft spot for outcasts, so I think Needlefingers is adorable. Same, Hagrid, I agree with you. But what about ye? What do you think of Needlefingers? Is cute, trouble, or strange? I think Needlefingers is quite cute, Hagrid. Did you really think I was going to change my answer? Oh good, our mission will be easier if we both have a certain affection for Needlefingers. But if a Bowtruckle lives on its own for too long, it can start to develop antisocial habits. Try to integrate it into a colony after that, and it can be disastrous. Does that mean Needlefingers may never have a home? We may still have time to teach it to interact with other Bowtruckles in a healthy way. The only problem is... What is it, Hagrid? Well, I tried to show Needlefingers some nice trees near the colony on the reserve, and it got quite angry. Now, if I do anything other than feed it, Needlefingers starts getting pointy. Oh, not pokey? With its fingers? I think it's a bit unhappy with me, and untrusting of people in general. Since you know quite a bit about Bowtruckles, I thought you might be able to help me. Thanks, Hagrid, but how should I start? Perhaps you could start by talking to Needlefingers. If it takes a liking to you, it may open up a bit. Then we can help it. Alright, I'll talk to Needlefingers and see if I can make any headway. I'm afraid I didn't fare much better than you, Hagrid. Yeah, he just went back in the box. Needlefingers is quite antisocial. In fact, it seems to like hiding in that box more than talking to us. Well, that box is one quality redwood, so we know there's some Bowtruckle left in our pal. But I'm afraid you might be right, MZ. We need to figure out how to get through to Needlefingers, but we need to take it slow. If it doesn't trust people, perhaps time with another Bowtruckle could help. Now there's an idea. Not the whole colony just yet, of course, but we could start with one and see how that goes. A Bowtruckle playdate. I like the sound of that. Perhaps you could do it in the forest, where there's lots of trees that should make the Bowtruckles comfortable. Brilliant! I know just the Bowtruckle to introduce to Needlefingers. Everyone gets along with Bowtruckle. It's irresistible. Perfect. And while you watch over Needlefingers, I can look into its past a bit, see what I can find. Don't let Needlefingers out of your sight. We're not sure what it's capable of just yet. Of course, I'll bring my most observant friend to help me keep an eye on it, Penny Haywood. We'll head to the forest next, where we can safely stage our Bowtruckle playdate. Sorry we're late for the Bowtruckle playdate, MZ, but we're so excited to introduce Bowtruckle to a new friend. And we can't wait to meet Needlefingers. We? Oh. Of course. Slow down, Haywood. Blimey, even the way you walk is annoying. You brought Marilla? Of course. You said Needlefingers was a bit antisocial, so I thought perhaps Marilla could offer some insight. She took some convincing, however. What are you talking about, Haywood? Once you said Needlefingers could pick locks. I knew I had to meet the little fiend. Of course. Of course. Don't get any big ideas, Marilla. We're here to introduce Bowtruckle to Needlefingers, and that's it. Hopefully meeting another Bowtruckle will help Needlefingers open up a bit. Fine, whatever. Now let's see the infamous Needlefingers. Unfortunately, it's still hiding in its box. It won't come out. Even here, summoned by all these beautiful trees, it prefers to hide in a box? How odd. That's sort of its thing. But perhaps if Bowtruckle approaches, Needlefingers will get curious. That's a brilliant idea! Needlefingers will surely want to say hello to a new friend. Go on, Bowtruckle. Go say hello, and let's see what happens. It's cute how I'm already holding the Bowtruckle. Oh! Hello! Look! Needlefingers' box is opening! It worked! He's coming out! Aww. Oh! I'm sure they're going to be best of friends! Perhaps we've done it! I mean, have we though? That wasn't too hard! Whoa! Okay, spoke too soon. Oh my! Yeah, Needlefingers is a bully! My poor Bowtruckle. Oh wow, that didn't work at all. Oh, I like this Needlefingers. Oh, my baby. It's all right, Bowtruckle. You're safe now. It seems Needlefingers doesn't have any interest in socializing, but it clearly loves that box. Perhaps it's protecting it? Or perhaps it doesn't like the look of Bowtruckle. They look the same! The truth is, we don't know anything about Needlefingers to understand why it's acting this way. But don't worry, Hagrid's on the case. If we're going to help it, we may need to learn what makes a Bowtruckle tick. If learning's what we need to do, I know just the place. It's time to hit the library and study up on Bowtruckles. Exactly! The better we understand them, the easier it will be to get through to Needlefingers. Perhaps I can keep an eye on our little friend while you two are busy reading. No, Marilla. I know you all too well. Ha! I don't think so, Marilla. Hagrid put me in charge of Needlefingers. Not you. And I know what you are probably planning. I'm the only one who should keep an eye on it. For now. And have Penny, observe to make sure it doesn't, you know, wander off. Well, suit yourself. But if you're taking the little scoundrel to the library with you, I'd better help you keep an eye on it. You want to be extra set of eyes, or do you just want to, you know, find a way? Don't want Needlefingers getting into any trouble. Madam Pince would banish you both. Well, what about you? You would be with us, or unless you're gonna, like, throw us under the bus. I'm sure Needlefingers will keep his needles to himself. At least I hope it will. If its past behavior has taught us anything, Needlefingers will likely just stay in its box. Yeah, I don't think it'll just wander off without it. If the box is like a safe zone or something to him. So let's head to the library to study Bowtruckles. Perhaps then we can get through to Needlefingers. Perhaps it's time for a snack. Oh, I've been simply drowning in studies lately. No time for fun of any kind. I cannot handle any surprises today. I'm right on edge. There you two are. I've gone ahead and pulled every book I could with information on Bowtruckles. Thanks, Penny. Hopefully we can learn something that will help us get through to Needlefingers. The longer it spends away from the other Bowtruckles, the harder it will be to introduce it to Hagrid's colony. Speaking of Needlefingers, perhaps I'd better check on it and see how it's doing. Needlefingers hasn't left its box since the disastrous playdate with Bowtruckle. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna just stay in its box. Nothing new. Then perhaps if I held it, I could coax the little creature out. I know, I don't know what you're planning to do with the Needlefingers. Nice try, Marilla. I'll hold on to Needlefingers for now. Yeah, your schemy little look just gave it away. And I know you too well. Needlefingers' attachment to that box could be an important clue as to what it makes it tick. You're right, Penny, but we have a lot of research to do before we can say anything definitive. The more we know about Bowtruckles, the better we'll be able to understand Needlefingers. So let's get reading. After that, we can discuss the strategy for dealing with our pointy-fingered friends. According to this, Bowtruckles prefer to live in the finest one-quality trees, and they're violently protective of them. They also love to eat woodlice. Yuck! I bet you never even tried a woodlouse, Marilla. Well, of course she hasn't tried one, considering that she just went, yuck! If Bowtruckles are so protective of the trees they live in, perhaps that explains Needlefingers' behavior with the box. Maybe we don't have any of the box's brand trees. Hagrid did say that box is made of one quality redwood. So do we not have redwood in the area? Maybe that's it? If Needlefingers was raised by thieves, that box could be the only one quality wood it's ever lived in. Oh, how sad. It's fighting to protect the only real home it's ever known. Well, that's some theory you two have got there. But it doesn't explain this. What? It's gone? Needlefingers has run off and abandoned his box. Wait, Marilla, weren't you going to keep your eye on it when Penny and I were too busy reading the books? Did you see where he went? Nope. Your guess is as good as mine. Well, what were you just doing then standing there for? You two were yammering on. I stole a glance at the box and Needlefingers was gone. It couldn't have gotten far. You're right. Perhaps we can find it before there's trouble. Ah! Too late. You mean like that kind of trouble? I just found this nosy little bug trying to pick the locks on my desk. That's grounds for expulsion. Just the way she's holding the needle fingers as well. Now, Marilla, don't you dare throw us under the bus for this. Miss Spiritbrook, did you bring this creature into the library? I mean, I guess so? Well, I mean, I was told to keep an eye on it. Yes, but I can explain. Why do I look so happy? I would be like shaking in my feet, in my shoes. Hagrid put me in charge of it. I only brought it into the library because I thought it would stay in its box. I never meant for it to break into your desk. That's exactly the behavior we're here to correct. I can vouch for Needlefingers. It just got confused is all. I appreciate your honesty, and I suppose I can forego expulsion. This time. So wait, would we have been expelled if we lied? But you and your twiggy friend must leave my library at once. Okay, Madam Pince. And back you go. Phew, that was close. Well, I mean, not really. We better hurry up and get Needlefingers out of the library before Pince comes back. But we haven't completed our research. We learned enough to make our next move. Needlefingers left its box to break into Madam Pince's desk. So it's clearly interested in more than home protection. I suppose years of being carefully trained by expert thieves would do a number on anyone. Exactly. First Hagrid's trunk, then Madam Pince's desk. It's clear Needlefingers was trained to hunt down locks and pick them, no matter what's inside. And if Needlefingers was trained to do all of that, perhaps we can train it too. Or we could leave Needlefingers just as it is and embrace what makes it different. I'm not saying we need to change Needlefingers completely. I'm only saying that with a bit of guidance, perhaps we can train it to trust people a bit more. Then perhaps it can learn to behave around other Bowtruckles. That's how it will survive. It's clearly quite clever. I think you're right to try and train it. Thanks, Penny. We can get started right away. I know just the wizard to help us, Professor Kettleburn. Let's bring Needlefingers to the Care of Magical Creatures classroom and teach it a few new tricks. Thanks for agreeing to meet with us, Professor Kettleburn. I'll admit I was quite curious to hear more about your new friend. Needlefingers, was it? Yes, we're hoping you can help us train it to trust people and get along with other Bowtruckles. Oh, I see. If it's clever enough, I'm sure we can train it to do all manner of things. To start, perhaps we can train it to come out of its box every once in a while? It's a bit shy, is it? Perhaps you can tell me a bit more about your friend. Then we'll see about luring it out of its cozy resting place. Of course, Professor. Needlefingers is a Bowtruckle Hagrid found in Hogsmeade. We suspect it was raised by thieves. Ah, yes, that's not unheard of, though you hate to see it. Needlefingers has an eye patch too, and a winning attitude, if you ask me. Wonderful! I love a good bit of patchwork. Since Needlefingers grew up around people instead of other Bowtruckles, it needs a bit of socializing. After that, we hope to introduce it to the colony on the reserve and finally give Needlefingers a home. You've certainly got the right idea. A Bowtruckle raised away from its colony won't survive long on its own. But you're in luck. I have just the thing to help us train your new friend here. What's that, Professor? snacks. The right snack is the key to any creature's heart. But which snack will do? What is a Bowtruckle's favorite food? Woodlice, guts... No, it's woodlice! Because I know it's definitely not going to be the third one. And also because Marilla also went, yick! Woodlice! We just read about that in the library. Glad you were paying attention, Spirit Brook. Clearly Needlefingers likes woodlice. Yes, you are correct, Miss Spirit Brook. No wonder Hagrid trusted you with such a recent rescue. And good job studying. I admire your commitment to learning about magical creatures in your charge. Now let's take a look at Mr. Fingers. Needlefingers. As you can see, he's a bit untrusting around people. That's quite clear. Perhaps we have our work cut out for us. But I'm sure none of us are put off by a bit of hard work. Now I'll give you each a handful of woodlice and let's begin our training session. Needlefingers seems to be responding well to the training. We've never gotten this close before. It's certainly a quick study, a lot of uses for that. Yes, Needlefingers is progressing, but now it's time for the final test. Ooh, and that is... Oh, Professor, be careful. This didn't go well when we tried it with Bowtruckle. If Needlefingers hopes to survive in the Bowtruckle colony, it needs to learn to be with other Bowtruckles. Yeah, but we tried that and it just went south. That's what I'm trying to warn you about. Let's see how this goes. Then we'll know how far Needlefingers has come. Okay, take 2. It worked, Professor! Needlefingers is learning to trust people and get along with other Bowtruckles. Like I told you. Snacks! With just a few more sessions, I'd say Needlefingers might be ready to enter the colony on the reserve. Thank you. Hagrid will be so pleased. In fact, I should go tell him now. I'll just collect Needlefingers and hurry to tell Hagrid the good news. Where is Needlefingers? What? Needlefingers ran off again? Oh, I don't see Marilla. Oh, no. Marilla! And so has Miss Snide, it seems. No, she is scheming, so she is using Needlefingers for something. Oh no. Marilla was quite interested in Needlefingers' locket-picking abilities. If she's run off with it, it will only spell trouble for Needlefingers. I better find them before anything bad happens. Hagrid trusted me to take care of Needlefingers. Why do I look so happy? This is like... I should be worried. Oh, hello. Uh-oh. It's a letter from Hagrid. Through owl mail. What is Hagrid saying? Oh. He can't already know Needlefingers is missing, can he? I'm not sure, but if he sent an owl, it must be quite important. You're right. The letter says exactly that. He might have found something interesting on his research. Hurry back to my hut, MZ. I've got to talk to you about Needlefingers. It's important. I'm not sure what that could mean, but you better go and talk to Hagrid right away. You're right, Professor. I'll go to Hagrid's hut now and talk to him. After that, I can track down Marilla and get Needlefingers back. Hi, Hagrid. I came as quickly as I could. And it looks like someone else is here. Your owl said you had something important to tell me about Needlefingers. And I guess the random person with us is probably the reason for Needlefingers? Maybe? Hello, little witch. I hear you got something of mine. Who are you? That's what I wanted to talk to you about, MZ. I was looking into Needlefingers' past and I came across someone claiming to be its owner. MZ, meet Mundungus Fletcher. That's right, that little lockpick belongs to me. And I'd like it back now, please. Well, I don't have it at the moment here. So tell me, where is me old pal? Don't know, Marilla. I'm not telling you. Well, I mean, you're like a stranger. I don't know if I should be honest. I'm not telling you anything, Mundungus. Yeah, maybe you're probably hurting this poor Needlefingers. Plain artable, I see. That's fine. I'm not here to cause trouble. And I admire a witch who keeps a tight lid on things. But wherever my Bowtruckle is, I'd hold you two responsible for whatever's happened to it. Hagrid's been running around Hogsmeade asking everyone who'll listen about the feisty Bowtruckle he found. So I know he took the little creature from me. If he gave it to you to look after and you lost it, you owe me. Well, it's not lost. I mean, Marilla has him. But I don't know where she is. But, oh, this is all my fault. I shouldn't have said anything about Needlefingers. I only wanted to help the little creature. You have a good heart, Hagrid. I don't blame you. It's going to be all right, Hagrid. We'll figure this out. That's right. It's all quite simple, really. All you have to do is give me the Bowtruckle back, or find another Bowtruckle to replace it. Wow, he doesn't care if it's not the one he practically taught to be thieving. And if you don't, I'll go straight to the ministry and report you both for thievery. Well, aren't you kind of a thief like you... But, thievery? You raised Needlefingers to pick locks for you! Oh, I don't know anything about that. Trying to cover your booty? You fibbing? Sure, the little creature and I like to play burglars sometimes, but that's just a game. Well, it's not really much of a game to Needlefingers. Whatever that Bowtruckle does on its own time is its business. If that's true, then you won't mind if it stays here with us? Like I said, I don't mind, provided you provide me with another Bowtruckle to show to some friends of mine. If you really lost me lockpick, I'll just pluck another Bowtruckle from the reserve and be on my way. Do not touch any Bowtruckles. Don't you go near them. Those Bowtruckles are perfectly happy where they are. Yes, in Hagrid's colony. Perhaps we can come to an agreement that suits everyone, including Needlefingers. If it's only money you're after, I could find you something of equal value and make a trade. Something that isn't a living, breathing creature. Sounds like a trick, but I'm listening. Tell me what you've got in mind. Perhaps we can figure out what's to be done about me Bowtruckle. Alright, you made your point. If you can find something of equal value on Hogwarts grounds, I'll trade you for me lockpick. Brilliant! After all the progress Needlefingers made, I'd hate to see it go right back into a life of crime. It was only trying to make a living, just like anybody else. It's in a Bowtruckle's nature to look out for number one. That's why we get along so well. Now go fetch whatever you propose to trade. I've never loved spending time at school. Alright. Filch confiscates all kinds of valuable things. I'm sure I'll find something in his office. You did it, Needlefingers. Now let's see what's inside. Well, look who we have here. Marilla, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised to find you two here. After all, there's so many locks for Needlefingers to pick, and you just can't help yourself. Now step away from the Bowtruckle. Perhaps you should ask Needlefingers what it wants. I mean, just look how happy it is to be doing crimes with me. I can't really tell. It's certainly not hiding in its box anymore. I'm sure Needlefingers would pick locks with you all day long, but where will it go once you're through? Needlefingers needs a home. Gah, fine. I suppose you have a point. It's just, Needlefingers and I have been getting on quite well. Because you're both baddies, is that what you're trying to say? We understand each other. I'm glad you and Needlefingers are friends, but we've got more pressing issues. Mundungus Fletcher is Needlefingers' original owner. If I don't find something to trade him for Needlefingers, he's going to take it back to Hogsmeade. What? No! We can't give Needlefingers away! Oh, now it's sad. Needlefingers should stay at Hogwarts. You have to do something. I mean, forget I said that. Forget I said anything. I don't, care. No, you do care, Marilla. I'd like to forget, Marilla, but for once, you and I are in total agreement. We can't give Needlefingers back to Mundungus, because he's just pretty much going to sell it off again. Luckily, Mundungus said he's willing to make a trade if we find something of equal or greater value. But Needlefingers is priceless. But I mean, I'm sure we can find something he'll think is valuable in here. Perhaps there's even something in this trunk we just opened. It's quite elegant. All right, let's have a look. Not so fast. Before I share the spoils with you, I need to know something. Are you going to tell anyone I got all mushy about Needlefingers? I will, I won't. Of course I won't, Marilla. If you don't want people to know what a true softie you are at heart. I have no interest in embarrassing you. I only want to help Needlefingers. I suppose that's halfway decent of you, Spirit Brook. I have to say, I'm surprised. I'll help you help Needlefingers. Just make sure you keep your promise. Now, if there's anything worth trading in this box, you can have it to give to Mundungus. Then let's search it for something valuable. After that, Needlefingers will have a home here at Hogwarts. Gah! There's nothing valuable in here. This chest is full of old screaming yo-yos. You're right. We'll have to search somewhere else to find something worth trading. I just hope we have time. Chirp, chirp, chirp! What is it, Needlefingers? Also, the way you just zoomed across the floor. That was adorable. What is it, Needlefingers? Uh-oh. Meow. If Mrs. Norris is near or here, that means Filch is not that far. Oh no, it's Mrs. Norris. That means Filch isn't far off. We have to get out of here now. But we have to find something to trade for needle fingers. We can't just bring it back to Mundungus with nothing to take its place. Alright, grab the screaming yo-yo with flames on the side and let's get back to Hagrid's hut. If it isn't enough for Mundungus, we'll have to think of some other way of saving needle fingers. Hagrid, I was looking in Filch's office for something to trade, and I found needle fingers. I also found something that might work for the trade. Great job, MZ. You always know where to look. Yes, good job, little one. Now give me back my Bowtruckle. But what about our trade? You said if I found something of equal value, needle fingers could stay with us. That was before you found the little lockpick. You lied to us, Mundungus. I don't much appreciate that. No, I didn't. I said I'd trade me Bowtruckle for something of equal value. But that little lockpick is priceless. So, no trade. I told you. Aww. If you don't give me the Bowtruckle right now, I'll have to report you all to the Ministry. Now wait just a minute, Mundungus. You wait just a minute yourself, Hagrid. You know as well as I do, there's no way that lockpick could get on with a proper colony of Bowtruckles. But you haven't seen all the progress it's made. From what we've seen, I think Needlefingers could be quite happy on the reserve. Oh yeah, prove it. Protect boss, side with Marilla. I mean, they're all good, but I don't know which one would make the most point. It shared food with Professor Kettleburn's Bowtruckle, and that was the key start to how it progressed in behavior. Obviously, it's getting used to being around others. Professor Kettleburn himself said Needlefingers could be ready to join the colony after a few more sessions. It shared its food? Did it? Huh. Well, that is a first. But while I'm glad to hear me Bowtruckle had a nice time, I'm afraid this still won't be a trade. Give me one good reason why not. Because there's no way you found anything more valuable to me than old Needlefingers. You say that, but you haven't considered what we brought. At least take a look. There's no point, Spirit Brook. It's just a worthless screaming yo-yo with some dumb flames on it. Wait a minute. Are you saying you took a screaming yo-yo from Filch's office? Yeah? And it had little flames on it? Why? Does that mean something to you? To me? Oh, of course not. Awkward silence. It probably does mean something special to him. Mundungus, what's wrong? Nothing. Just give me the Bowtruckle and I'll be on my way. But I'll take the yo-yo too, since it's worthless and all. Doesn't sound that worthless to you. I think this yo-yo has more value than you're letting on. I'm not hiding nothing. I'm just not going to talk about it. Tell us the truth, Mundungus. What's the story behind this yo-yo? Alright, fine, I'll admit it. That is no standard screaming yo-yo. It was a part of a special promotion that took place when I was a first year. They only made a few. I remember them now. They had those little flames and a particularly musical scream. It was my favorite toy when I arrived at Hogwarts. Aw, sentimental value. Aww. But Filch hated screaming yo-yos, you see. He confiscated mine thinking it was just like any other. And that's how you grew to be this cold-hearted person. Because your childhood was stolen from you. But my screaming yo-yo was special. And I missed it all these years. We had a good thing going, me and that yo-yo. So you're willing to make the trade? Needle fingers for your childhood yo-yo? Well, the yo-yo's not worth a quarter of what I could get for that lockpick. It goes against all my instincts as a businessman to make this trade. But I want my screaming yo-yo back. So, we have a deal? We have a deal. Yes! Yes! Of course Marilla would be over the moon. Or cool. Or whatever. Trying to act cool, are we? Just don't tell anyone about our little arrangement. People find out you've got a soft side and your bargaining power goes straight out the window. Spirit Brook's a lot of things, but I guess she's all right when it comes to embarrassing secrets. Aw, thank you, Marilla, I guess. You can trust her if you let us keep needle fingers. Fine, just give me the yo-yo already. We've missed out on so many years of practice together. Looks like Needle Fingers finally has a home, thanks to you, MZ. Thanks, Hagrid. With a little more training, we should be able to introduce it to the Bowtruckle colony soon. After that, anyone who wants to stop by and say hello will know exactly where to find it. I'm sure we can all agree where Happy Needle Fingers gets to stay. And from the looks of it, so is Needle Fingers. So doesn't Needle Fingers doesn't need its box anymore? Oh, he's